Jaws, Citizen Kane, and A Quiet Place all depend on one simple filmmaking technique: the major dramatic question. The whole concept of a major dramatic question could be page 1 of any screenwriting book or lesson because of its importance. Some call it a central dramatic question. Some refer to the major dramatic question simply as the MDQ. Hollywood story editor Christopher Lockhart, whose career has been based partly on finding scripts for Denzel Washington, says, "The MDQ is the linchpin of dramatic narrative, the purpose for which the story is being told." He also talks about a minor dramatic question that I'll unpack towards the end of this video. This is also a good time to interject that Lockhart leads a helpful group of screenwriters in a Facebook group called The Inside Pitch. They have over 15,000 members there, ranging from new to working screenwriters. This is also a good time to thank those of you who've been watching this first year of Filmmaking with Brass Knuckles. Now back to the MDQ. Robert McKee says in his classic book Story, "Hunger for the answer to the major dramatic question grips the audience's interest, holding it to the last act's climax." In the book Writing Movies, Daniel Noah says that the major dramatic question is at the center of every good movie. He says it's the story's nucleus. It's the centrifugal force that propels the story along its path of action, accelerating it steadily and breathlessly towards a climactic conclusion. And once the MDQ is answered, the story is over. The MDQ is easier to see in some films than others. For instance, in the movie Castaway, will Tom Hanks survive being on a deserted island and eventually be rescued and reunited with his fiancée? But this simple technique can be found in all genres throughout film history. Here are 10 quick examples over the last 100 years. Will E.T. get home? Will 3 friends find their missing buddy on the day of his wedding? Will an FBI trainee help catch the killer, Buffalo Bill? Will Sheriff Brody capture the shark that is terrorizing his town? Will Aaron bring justice to a small town? Will a bureaucrat find purpose and meaning in discovering he's dying of cancer? What is Rosebud? Will Marlin find Nemo? Will Indiana Jones find the Ark of the Covenant? Will Dorothy get back home to Kansas? Will a hapless gold prospector in remote Alaska survive dangerous conditions and find riches? You get the point. You'll find major dramatic questions in plays, TV shows, literature, YouTube videos, public speaking, and even in reality television. Which house are they going to buy? What's in this barn find? Which mate will she choose? This goes way back to at least Kenneth Rowe's 1939 book, Write That Play, where he talks about this concept. There's nothing magical or mystical about the major dramatic question, or questions in general. It's actually biological. Stanford neuroscientist Andrew Huberman says, "The brain loves questions." That at least explains why we're attracted to questions. Unanswered questions hold our attention. Sometimes the simplest question is packed with emotion.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Unanswered questions are often packed with drama, with conflict, and with pain and heartache. Alfred Hitchcock knew that unanswered questions equaled suspense. Unanswered questions have been captivating people since the beginning of mankind. Now, I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure that the earliest civilization centered around basic questions about where to find food, shelter, and intimacy. Some things never change. And they did a pretty good job, or we wouldn't be here.
You're a fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
Whoa. Lastly, Christopher Lockhart also talks about the MDQ being external in nature. But he also says a connected internal dilemma could also be called a minor dramatic question. So while Rocky loses the first fight against Apollo Creed, the minor dramatic question of, am I a bum, is his internal battle. And even though he loses the fight, he proves to himself that he's not a bum by going the distance with the champ. And he does win the girl. It's often in your subplots that the theme is carried. And more recently, I think about what made A Quiet Place transcend the typical monster in a house sci-fi horror genre was the minor dramatic question. The MDQ being, will a family survive giant destructive killer creatures? The minor dramatic question being, will a father be able to show his daughter that he loves her? I think that answer, just brilliantly written by Scott Beck, Brian Woods, and John Krasinski, carries the theme of the movie. And it's what helps make A Quiet Place filmmaking with brass knuckles. If you like these kind of insights, check out my book, Screenwriting with Brass Knuckles. Scott Beck and Brian Woods were kind enough to write the foreword.